Hold on.
Hey,
Hold on.
nigga, you
Hold on.
gay.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on. 1 second.
That's fine.
What? 1 second.
That's fine, bro.
Malachi, you can't. Malachi. That kind of caught me off guard, bro.
Yeah, sorry.
Like,
That's
for,
the shit I like saying.
Yeah.
This shit is fucking hilarious.
For a majority of that,
this is why I say
nah,
it.
bro.
This is why I say that shit.
Nah, nigga.
For a majority of the time, I was with you. Yeah, I was.
That came out a little too natural, my dude.
Dead ass.
sorry,
I was
bro.
with you for like 90% of that conversation up until
Sorry,
that. Yeah.
Oh no, you were talking about the other part? Oh.
I agreed with it completely. Everything you said up until that. I'm like, yeah, totally.
Yo,
Wait.
And then he heard that, he was like, yeah, totally. Wait, hold up, what?
I'm gonna fuck him in the ass. Like, no.
No. I'm not actually, obviously.
No, I know.
He's my boy. Like,
You wouldn't actually fuck your boy in the ass, but if he needed you to like fuck him in the ass to save his life,
What the f-
Oh, nah. What?
Alright, that's not where I was going with it. I'm not like the most serious about it. I'm like, not serious at all.
I'm sorry.
I just don't give a fuck if you react or not.
yo,
If
would
it's
you
my
do it
boy,
though if he
and
needed you to do
It's
it?
hilarious. I mean, yeah, what, to save his life? Yeah, he would probably do it too. Like, I mean, I don't know what to say, bro. To save his life? Yeah, but...
I'm sorry. I'm gonna look
You
one.
guys are making it way too serious. That's not my point.
No, actually, no.
damn.
That's a good point. No. Like, if your boy, like, if someone had a gun to your boy head, I was like, yo, you need to fuck him in the ass, or I'm gonna shoot him. What you doing?
Yeah, yes. So I would rather him be alive than dead. But, like, again, you guys are making it way more serious than I was.
Nah,
I'm
B,
just
you
saying
not
this nigga's
fucking
got
me
a
in the
smooth-ass
ass.
bald head that I like rubbing, and niggas are like, oh shit, this nigga's homo.
Honestly, I don't give a fuck. This is just entertainment for me.
Good. Same.
Like I could literally give less of shit. It's just funny.
Nah. Let Brian or Jay join the party, and these niggas would be like, yo, I'd fucking pop that shit, I'd pop your anal cherry. I'd be like, nigga, go for it.
What?
There we go.
And you get mad
I
when
live for this reaction, bruh.
And
my whole point.
this is your niggas.
dead ass. That's why the niggas were calling you gay that day, bruh. Fucking. He was like,
all
oh
set,
yeah,
bruh.
hey guys, I'm gonna pop you in. I'm gonna pop your anal cherry. Like, what do you expect people to
Nigga,
say?
no, I'm being way more serious.
First of all, hold on.
Descriptive.
First of all, fuck you, Eric, because firstly, nobody even said anything gay that motherfucking day. Okay, I heard that comment. Nobody was even talking about some gay shit. We didn't even say anything in the situation. We weren't having a conversation. The dude randomly came out of nowhere. Okay?
Nah, I know,
So
I know.
fuck you.
That's true.
Dead ass.
someone random
I'm just trying to make him fit. Yeah, bro, it's New York, bro. It's New York. What do you think?
On the train, literally, like I'm going to his house like for the second time, right? Because he had moved into Harlem at that time, and literally, like, I'm getting on the train. I'm holding like a fucking. I have a backpack on. I'm holding like a duffel bag full of some clothes, and like my boy is just like next to me. We're getting on the fucking train, and like this random black guy just came out of nowhere and starts aggressively coming at us like, oh yeah, you fucking faggots, you fucking gay motherfuckers. I'm like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? Like, literally, what is this nigga saying right now? And then he like was getting so irate out for like no reason, dude. Like, literally, I feel like if I had responded, he probably would have tried to kill us, like, or fight us.
That's why you gotta be like Floyd Mayweather, bro, and just walk around like 5 security guards, cause.
I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Or here's what you do. Tell him you got a pretty lip.
Hey, you got some pretty lips, my nigga.
There you go. Nah, there you go. That's what.
He's like, you know what? Hey, you know what? Thank you, my nigga. You know what? Maybe you guys aren't gay.
God damn, niggas got some DSLs. Fuck my life.
You got the
You'd be like,
DSL,
what
bro.
the fuck, homie?
You gotta go up to
I'd
him
be
and
like,
be
what
like, yo,
the fuck, homo?
yo, I'll be like, yo, keep talking. That's how you get your dick sucked, nigga. Fuck with me.
Dead ass.
I guarantee
Like, I'll
you.
put it in your booty hole right now.
I guarantee you, no nigga's gonna keep talking until
Hell no.
the second you say some shit like that. Keep talking, that's how you get your dick sucked. That nigga gonna go
awesome.
take 2 seconds and say, what? And bounce.
I mean, that's
Like-
what would be the
like-
hope. But this guy seemed like he was a little too aggressive to be taken at that standpoint.
I put my dick up
I
your
really
asshole
fuck with
right
this crazy
now,
black guy
faggot.
that I just randomly like didn't even.
Crazy black guy. Yo, literally, if you said the gayest thing to him you could possibly say, he probably would have tried to kill you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This nigga was clearly a homophobe of some
He was an
denomination,
extreme homophobe. He was just possessed by a homophobic demon.
Maybe.
Yo, you homos! You fucking faggots! God fucking damn it!
Yo, that's a shame. That's literally the same hateful perspective, though, that these white supremacists come from.
It really is, though. They're 100% people like that. They're 100% crazy-ass New York people just living in the woods.
Nah, but I mean, like, New York or not, I'm just saying, like, super homophobes.
People are just crazy,
and, like,
yeah.
super blackophobes or Muslimophobes, whatever you want to fucking call them. Yeah,
Peopleophobes, yeah.
Anybody who discriminates, y'all sick-minded. Fuck you.
Yo,
That ass.
Random quick question. What's a charm or something I can make that what's it called increases the amount of carbs, or what's the skill, should I say?
Yeah, increases the amount of carbs.
Carver Pro.
Yeah.
Skill of Carver Pro.
Carver Pro, thank you. Where is it at? Is there a charm for that or no?
Check it out. I have no idea. You can literally look through every charm, whether or not
Got
you
it,
can make
thank you. Carver Pro. No, that's
so
it.
FYI, if you have
Well,
every drink, you can just like fill yourself up on straight alcohol and you get extra carbs.
Yeah, I know that. But I
Want
don't
you
have
to
the
do that?
last drink. I don't
Bro,
have the last
I'm on
drink.
that. I'm on that level every fucking day. That's why I made everything I need. So I'm just drunk as fuck on the monsters.
Yo, I finally got like I got a
That's probably
Dino Jiva Longblade and a Diva Gina Hammer, so I'm pretty much
good.
set.
Skia.
Pretty much set.
Good, bro. Good, bro. Good, bro.
Oh fuck! I failed.
You want this dragon attack, bro? What happened to that? What happened to that Volzak, bro? You need to make that dragon attack charm,
Oh
bro.
no, Valhazak.
What happened to that Volzak, bro?
That's my next shit, but I need.
What happened
Shit.
to that Volhazak, bro?
You know what?
Make that
Keep
charm,
talking. That's
bro.
how you get that dick sucked, Negro.
Nah, nigga, you gotta do it the opposite way. Say, keep talking, nigga. That's how you suck my dick, bro. You got them DSLs.
So you get your dick sucked from the back.
Keep talking. I like how you look, bro. How about I stick it in your mouth? Then he'll fucking shut up. That's what.
Put your porks
You
up.
tell him you're
Yeah.
gonna suck his dick. He's just gonna keep fucking, you know, hitting you with them.
Keep fucking with me.
Them
I'm
attack
gonna
words.
suck your fucking
Thing,
dick.
though, don't do it to some. Yo, this nigga couldn't take the gay shit.
He just
He
did.
was like, nah. He was just like, nah, not today, not today, Jesus.
He was like, "You damn sodomites." Nah, bruh. On some real shit.
Cast you down with the sodomites. Yo, who can name that quote though?
What?
What quote?
I said, "I'll cast you down with the sodomites."
No clue where that's from.
From fucking Shawshank Redemption.
Never seen
Great
it.
movie.
I know,
You should
I
watch
know.
it, bro. That is like literally the #1 movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a great
Definitely
movie, bro.
watch it.
I really like Blood Diamond. In the past, I like Blood Diamond.
Blood Diamond's really
My,
good too.
my top 5 back in the day was so fucking retarded. My #1 was always Shawshank Redemption, but then my #2 was like Blood.
You definitely seem like a Shawshank
Sentence.
Redemption ass nigga, you Andy
You know that movie,
Dufresne ass
Death Sentence?
motherfucker.
Yeah, my top 5 was fucking retarded, bro.
You're an Andy Dufresne ass
Shawshank
nigga.
Redemption, then straight to Kevin Bacon, Death Sentence. And
True,
second,
that was a
third
good
was
movie.
fucking-
Yo, I watched that the other day.
That's just the most retarded shit. To go from Shawshank to Death
To
Sentence.
Death
It's
Sentence,
just
yeah,
fucking-
like what?
But
What's your top
Third
5
was-
right now, you'd say?
right now,
Yeah,
my top 5 movies ever.
top 5.
I would still put Shawshank at the top. I would probably put Dark Knight as #2.
True, good
I
choice,
just
good
enjoy that
choice.
movie every time I watch it. Let me see. I would probably put Ip Man in my top 5.
Really?
Yeah, as far as movies I enjoy, yeah.
Man, it's a shit.
Hitman was pretty good. I don't think I finished it though.
No, finish
You
it.
should finish it, bro. I've watched every Hitman. There's 4. I've watched every
Well,
fucking
that's
one.
alright. I gotta watch him.
Also Kung Fu Killer, which is the same director and cast pretty much, but
Fucking Cyberman.
yeah, I did I will put those 3. GoldenEye, James Bond, number 4, and then number 5 would be
No like current movies or more recent films.
no, yeah, number 5 would probably be like probably either Inception or Repo Man.
Yeah, Repo Man was really good.
I think those 3 just share my slot number 5. Repo Man, Shutter Island, Inception. I just love the twists and everything.
Yeah, those are really good choices.
That's just like off the brain right now.
Let me see.
I haven't really given it much thought recently.
Yeah, me neither. I'm trying to think though. Best movies I've seen. Have you seen Silence?
No.
That's probably somewhere within my top 3.
Shit. Yeah.
That's like, you know, Martin Scorsese?
Yeah.
He's wanted to make this movie for like a really long time, and like he finally got to make it, and it's really good. Like if you want to watch a movie that really makes you like question morality and like religion and shit, I would definitely like watch that
Did you
movie.
guys love how 5 days after Stanley Kubrick came out with Eyes Wide Shut, he was killed?
Stanley Kubrick?
Yes, Stanley Kubrick. Die.
Yeah, what about 7?
7? That's another good one.
7 pounds.
Not 7 pounds, just 7. Not 7 pounds, not 7 rounds. I'm talking about 7.
7 pounds.
7 ounce, 7
7
ounce.
pounds.
Yeah, well, I also really love I Am Legend, but I know that's just because I like Will Smith a lot.
I Am Legend was trash.
Yo, let me tell you something though. The first time I watched I Am Legend, I saw the alternate ending. And you know the first time you watch a movie, I'll tell you, but the first time you watch a movie, like that's how it is. That's the movie, right? Like I learned that the alternate ending was what I watched and the regular ending was the original ending, right? So at the end of the movie, and you know, like
Yeah, the alternate ending was so much
everybody here
better.
has seen I Am Legend, right?
Yeah, I've seen the alternate ending too. It was great.
Yeah.
It made more
The
sense, I
alternate
think.
ending, I think so too. But the alternate ending, so first, the original ending. Like the main zombie or whatever is like slamming on the wall, and as he continues to do it, like Will Smith sees a butterfly pattern in the cracks in the wall in the safe room, and he looks back and he sees the butterfly tattoo on the girl's neck. She's holding the little boy Dylan, and he's like, I need to save them, right? So he's like, you know, get in the fireplace, whatever, you know, lock yourself in, and he pulls a grenade and blows himself up, and that's the end of the movie. Like they escape to safety. And the alternate ending, which is what I saw first, was same situation. He's slamming on the wall, right? He sees the butterfly, and he looks back, and the butterfly tattoo is on the zombie's neck. The zombie who he cured, who's also in the room with them, and he sees it on her neck, and he realizes he needs to reinfect her and give her back to this guy, this zombie, and he does. He reinfects her with the virus. She starts breathing super fast, and he just rolls her back out, and they have this understanding, like, this is what you wanted the whole time.
Deadass. He just wanted his
you
like
guys
girl
are not
back.
Inhuman.
Yep.
Yeah, like you guys are not inhuman. You still have a concept of love, a concept of, you know,
Yep.
like
He doesn't completely
protection.
understand them, which made like a lot more sense.
Right.
I agree.
Right. Like there's more that we don't understand about these people. They still care, and that was the end of it. He leaves. He takes the girl. She wakes up as a zombie, and they leave. That was the end of the movie. It was way better.
So,
Way
question.
better, yeah.
No, that is very homosexual. Because
How's that homosexual?
Why?
He's a doctor, dude. He could. At the end of that movie, he found like the civilization that they were looking for. So now he can actually like help them develop a cure, I guess, in more humane ways. Now that he knows
okay,
that
you
like
know why?
what?
You know why? Because
Why not?
all those people that were like zombies or whatever, they were people first. So why would they want to stay zombies?
Because they are zombies. That's the life that they know now, and that was the whole point. Like he found the civilization that he was looking for, and simultaneously found the civilization that they were looking for, which was living in the world as they are. And that was the whole point. That was what made the ending so great. Like they don't want to be human again. Like they don't care about their human lives. That's the whole point. Like he wasn't sure if she was gonna survive. He just managed to make her human. She was on ice. She never woke up as a human ever throughout the movie. And she woke up as a zombie again, and they left, and they lived. You know?
That's dumb. I would have been like, yo, let me wake the bitch up. Yo, what do you want?
I mean, clearly it was obvious what she wanted. Yeah, she wanted to be with her guy.
No, what if she woke up and was like, yo, fuck this. That really fucked up my mind. I'm good. I want to be human again.
Yeah, well, that would have been the ultimate twist, and that zombie nigga would have eaten her too. But that's not what happened.
That was a really good movie.
I thought that made the movie really great. And then when I saw the original ending, I was like, well, that was fucking whack.
Yo, you know who's a really good Kubrickian director? Nicholas Winding Refn. Yo, I've been watching like a lot of his movies. They're all really good. Neon Demon is really good. Like, that movie, it's about a witch cult. And you don't know it's about a witch cult unless, like, it doesn't make sense until you get to the end. But it's basically about a witch cult. And it has to do with, like, the fashion industry and image, and it has a lot of subliminal messages there. But it's dope as fuck. Like, the lighting is amazing. It looks almost like a cartoon, because it's always like very like heavily saturated and colorful. But Only God Forgives is another good one like that too. Like, the ending is really ambiguous, and there's a lot of like symbolism in that movie too, because one character is God and the other one basically is the devil, and the entire story plays out, and you kind of like understand that in order for God to exist, the devil needs to exist, and in order for the devil to exist, God needs to exist. And it's really crazy, because if you think about it, that's how the world is. If there needs to be good and evil, like, there will never be 100% good, there will never be 100% like evil. It doesn't work that way. It'll always be like a mix of both. And the movie...
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ty. Ty, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I forget a lot of my Christian history.
Oh, it's not Christian. It's set in Thailand.
No, but like, didn't God create the archangel Lucifer, and then didn't Lucifer like disobey God or whatever, and then like was cast out? You said something in
Lucifer rebelled against God. He didn't necessarily disobey him. Angels, as compared to humans, do not have free will in that sense. Like, they don't have... When we talk about free will, at the utmost high of free will, like, you have the ability to... like,
to choose.
Literally
Angels don't have that.
No, not even just to choose. Like, you have the ability to deny the existence of your creator, okay? Like, you have the ability to, like, completely be an atheist and not know that creation exists, to, like, think whatever you want, right? Angels don't have that, right? Like, they can't deny God. They are spiritual beings, you know, they're not physical beings. Like, God is them in all of their forms, you know what I mean? So, when Lucifer sees the creation of, like, man, and sees that angels have that, or that man has that ability where angels do not, became jealous of that creation. Especially since, like, pretty much all the angels, like, are subjected to man, you know what I mean? Like, even though they're more, like, spiritual beings, right? So, in that essence, yes, Lucifer was cast out of heaven because of him taking all of these angels, and basically, like, it was a mix of sins, you know, like pride, like, fucking jealousy, whatever it is, like, he basically got cast out of heaven because of that, right? And he plotted with the angels to basically go deceive mankind. And it wasn't only him. There was a sect of angels separate from
Who's to say Lucifer is even a guy though? Like, I think a woman would be
angels
much
don't
better
have a
at
gender.
deception.
Hold up.
You don't have to get
First of
into
all,
all that, but angels and spiritual beings don't have genders the way that we have
Well,
dick.
in
Okay?
this
They can
movie,
appear
the devil
as-
was a woman, and
That's
like
possible.
God
Lucifer
was a
can
guy
appear as a
and a
woman.
cop.
Okay.
It didn't
First of all,
appear. I
God
mean, it's
is
not.
a guy. God is a man. He denotes himself as a man. Okay.
I think
Like-
this got too literal. The basic
Well,
story,
hold
the
on.
basic
You're
concept
not-
of the movie is
Go
a
ahead.
character like he does like the devil's
listen,
work
hold on,
basically,
hold on.
and
Before I
he
forget,
just
before I
seeks
forget, let me say
judgment
something.
from
Let me say
God.
something.
Yo, every time I
And
come
the
into
journey-
y'all niggas parties, y'all talking about some deep shit, yo.
Yeah, yo, I'm talking about a movie
Hold on,
called
let me-
Only God
let me say
Forgives.
something.
It's a mad good
Hold
movie.
up.
As soon as I came in, God is a man. He's a man.
God is a man.
Yeah.
Let me say
Certainly.
something before I
That's what he
forget.
denotes
The
himself.
the reason why I
L.
brought this
Ron
up
Hubbard was a
because
black man.
you said that. The reason why I brought this up was because you said that there can't be there can be God without there can't be God without Lucifer, and there can't be Lucifer without God.
That's not what he said. He said
That's
there
not
can't
what
be
I
good
said at
without
all.
evil.
I said you
He said
can't be
can't be
good
good
without
without
evil, because
This
good
perfect
and
time
evil are the
to
same side of the
smack
same coin,
about to get my
right?
point
Remember,
right
Lucifer
now.
was good at some point. He became evil when he
Yeah.
became obsessed with prideful things, you know? Be obsessed with upholding himself over human creation. That's where evil spawned from. Remember, like, God is good in a sense, you know, like God is the righteous, like he is the compass of all morality, let's say, because he's been through all that, you know, he knows what good and evil is, he understands like that concept. So if you're his creation and you don't have the ability to essentially understand that, like angels in a sense like have the knowledge that God has, you know what I mean, they won't ever be God, they can't like, you know, completely make something disappear like God can, like he can't erase, like they can't erase God from existence, let's say, but God can do that to them, right? But like in a sense, like angels, they can deny God, like they can follow Lucifer and disobey him knowing that they're damned, but like in the back of their heads, like it's always there, they're always connected to God. So like it's kind of like they're just shooting themselves in the foot, whereas humans don't ever have that sense. Like some people can just go their entire life without having like a spiritual like experience, you know? It's just different.
And
like,
with that said, you know, good and evil is also subjective in the
Yeah.
sense that like I mean, you can go your entire life without recognizing God and still be a good person, you know.
Very true,
But you can also
exactly.
be a very evil person.
But
you know?
then
question,
you can
here
understand
begs the-
what good
here
and evil
begs
is
the
once
question.
you... Go ahead.
Here begs the question: if you do go through your whole life without acknowledging God, but you still are an amazing like person, would
Will
you
you get
still
into
be
heaven?
exactly?
No.
I
And the
don't
reason
think.
being that all humans have sinned, right? We have to bear the burden of sin because of our forefather Adam, right? Because they disobeyed God and ate from the tree, right? We're all penalized to die at that point, right?
Because this girl Eve gonna be like, "Yo, you want some apple?"
Yeah, and she was deceived by Satan, who literally, like, that's the reason he was cast out of heaven, because of that. He was
That's why I
deceived by
don't
the
trust
serpent, the
women.
devil.
Listen, you want an apple? No, Eve.
Dude,
Well,
women
man.
are easily misled by shit. It's not like
Ooh,
a...
shit.
I don't want to
Ooh,
like shoot that, but it
ew,
is true,
ew.
you know?
Listen, I'm not putting that into the universe because I know damn well if I do, that shit gonna come back to bite me. Some bitch
Hey,
gonna
it
be like,
is what
"Oh,
it
word!
is.
I heard you
Like-
said at this date, at this time."
Women
You
are
know what I
more
mean?
emotional than men. Men are more logical and like cold thinking. They don't have a lot of emotional tendencies, but like you can learn to be on either side, you know? It just depends on the
Agreed.
person. But
Agreed.
initially, like, it is just a thing. Women are more emotional and men are more logical, and that's not to
On-
take
on
away
average,
from either side. On average,
Yeah.
yes. You know, that's why like most girls, like guys watch a chick flick and they're just like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this is bullshit. But most women will cry on average at a chick flick, you know, whereas guys can watch a superhero film and see like the logical outcome of what the hell is going on, you know, like we're doing this for the good of the world, like da 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 da, and then girls will just be like, all right, this is boring. There's no like emotional connection to this shit, you know. It's just guys blowing shit up and like all this violence and shit happening.
But
That's like a
guys blowing
poor
shit up
example,
is
but
shit.
it is what it is.
I mean, I think
Yeah, no. We have empathy.
No,
You can learn that.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely think it's a good thing. Yeah, I definitely think it's a good thing. I mean, everything in moderation, but I guess what I wanted to say with regards to all of this is this: that if we're not talking about Christianity, but we are talking about God, and I'm talking about their like Judaism in a sense. I'm talking about the Old Testament, right? Mm-hmm. Which is obviously part of Christianity too. But like, it's something that I always. Yeah, no. Let's get into that. I'm talking about the Old Testament.
Really?
Okay, no. Actually, yeah, Old Testament. With that said, actually, I'm talking about Christianity, and I'll talk about the Old Testament. You know, because I don't know what you're trying to do right now, but don't debase my argument. What I'm trying to say is.
Oh,
like,
I'm not trying to. I'm not saying that, but I'm just like, yo, the Old Testament, yo, some things were said up in there that.
The New Testament, some things were said in there that are fucked up. So, like,
you're right.
the shit isn't perfect at all. So my point is this: that if we're going to talk about God, then we should talk, and we're going to talk about good and evil. Then we should talk about the original concept of Satan, which was an aspect of God. It was not a separate being. It was not, and there was no he or she. There was no separate beings at all. It was God and Ha-Satan, not Satan. Ha-Satan. And Ha-Satan was God's evil. And what God used that evil for, you can see in stories like Job and stories like, Cain and Abel, where he subjected people to terrible things to have them prove their faith. Like when whoever the fuck it was on that mountain trying to kill his son, and God said, whoa, what the fuck are you doing? Even though I said,
Judas?
Do this, don't do this. Yeah,
No, not Judas. No, it wasn't Judas.
That was Abraham, yeah. Abraham sacrificed Isaac, or tried to sacrifice Isaac.
But my point is this, that Ha-Satan is an aspect of God, so it's not like God is good and not evil. It's that God is good and evil. It's that God is all-encompassing, right? And
he understands both sides. That's the thing.
Right. That one can't exist without the other, whether you're Christian or not, because if you are, God is good and evil. He's both. He's just and righteous that way, but he's both, and he's balanced that way as well.
That's why he understands. He is a extremely
right.
Yeah. Deed is death.
It's not. Mm-hmm. It's not an eye for, 30 shekels. Like.
That scripture is hilarious.
My point is also, if you're not Christian, which a lot of people are not, then good and evil are still a balance in the sense that like good can't exist without evil because it's all relative, right? You can't be good unless someone is evil in the world and you can compare yourself to them, right? Like if everybody was the same, there would be no good and evil. If everybody was just gray, basically.
Yep.
But more than that, there is a spectrum, right? Even if there was not the most evil, like animalistic souls in a sense, and the most divine souls in a sense, there would still be people on the spectrum, and we would just call them then the most good, the most evil. It doesn't really make a difference, right? Like even if you were like on the spectrum of only good, there'd be people that are like kind of neutral, who like don't do generous things and this and that. And there would be people who do like extremely magnanimous things, and you would call like, why doesn't he share ever? Like that dude's evil. Like he would just become evil. Like that's just how it works. So my 2 cents.
Alright, I beat my meat real quick.
Alright, beat your meat.
1, 2, 3. I'm done.
The nigga said,
Nice.
Done.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you gotta get that reverse breath though. That done.
Me and my friend saw this post and we just started making up shit. It's things you could say at your funeral, at a funeral that you also say during the sex. Things you say at a funeral that you can also say during sex. No, it was just like a post on Facebook. It was like, yo, say something, like, type something you can say during sex that you also say at a funeral.
Lie down.
What?
I can't think of anything.
Really? This is easy, guys.
Alright, go for it, bro. I mean, you
Oh,
already
God.
You said
How
I'm
about
coming.
oh god?
Wait, what?
Oh God, sure.
Yo, nah, no.
I mean, that sounds about right though.
That sounds definitely about right. Oh God, hear ye. On this 24th day of February lies a great man who once stood before us.
Shit.
Sorry. I just really don't fucking. Sorry.
I have no idea, yo.
Lost. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's my bad.
Fuck what I say during also, besides, oh God, like you said.
This was short-lived.
Let me just be real honest, real quick. I fucking hate religion. I hate religion.
Ooh, damn.
I really wish that religion wasn't a thing. I'm just gonna be totally honest with you guys right now. I wish that everything could just be like based in rationality and not based in belief. But that's just not a possibility because we don't know everything, right?
Nope.
I just wish that we knew more so that we wouldn't have to guess.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
You and the rest of the world, bro.
Just gotta have faith.
That's not true, though. The rest, most of the world base their beliefs in belief and not in truth.
I think there's a difference between religion and faith, though.
Agreed. I think you can have faith.
I think you can have faith without having to abide by religion, because a religion assumes that you're talking about, like, in my opinion at least, like, worship of gods by organized masses and men, essentially. Like, that is my understanding of it. When I think about faith, though, that's a belief in something higher than myself, not necessarily believing that I need to follow the tenets of, like, a church or something like that. I can follow the book, maybe, because the book teaches me certain things, and it's like a moral guideline for me. You know, I don't take, like, I take everything with a grain of salt in it, and I try to interpret it and understand it for myself and live my life accordingly. But, I mean, yes, you're right. I don't know everything, and I'm never gonna, you know, claim to know everything. But in my opinion,
I do know
that's
everything.
the whole point of the faith, you know?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm a dumbass. I admit this.
Like, to put my faith in something that is higher than myself, to guide myself through life.
Yeah.
To,
No, and I'm not knocking faith. I hear what you're saying.
I get that. But I
I'm
agree
just-
with you. I think religion in itself is like organized religion used to control people is evil, you know? I think that is evil. Like, I've seen the evil, and this is why I stress, like, the Catholic Church is an evil entity, and people don't understand this. Like, for whatever, you know, and that's my opinion, but, like, if you do your research in the symbolism, they exemplify everything that they're supposed to be fighting against. And you can call that progressive, but that's completely immoral to what they stand for, you know?
Right.
And that's just the root of it. That's
And I
literally the
mean,
root of it.
you don't even have to research too deep to find, too, that, like, I mean, like, there are thousands, like, literally four figures, if not 5 or 6 by this point, of priests and bishops who have abused kids and children, and they're just transferred to another church instead of
literally,
punished, you know?
literally, and
That's
like
just the end of it.
And this is a thing that I also stress, like, doing your research, because I don't want to sound like a fucking doomsayer, but, like, literally this stuff has been predicted
I'm not laughing at you, I'm
in the
sorry.
book.
This
Yeah, I
nigga
get it,
got
no
paid
problem.
$77,000 to lose a
Predicted
fight,
in the
bruh.
book that I've been reading. So, again, it could be just the ramblings of some ancient person I've never met and will never meet in my lifetime, my life, whatever, but it's just crazy that there's so many similarities to what happened back then that is happening now. And yes, we always use the term history repeats itself, but that is for a reason, you know? Clearly there is something that's been going on constantly over time that has been trying to essentially come to fruition that we're just not paying attention to. And that's just my opinion.
Or, what's even scarier is if nothing matters and nothing will ever come to fruition, because everything will just always be how it's always been.
If that's the truth, and if you want to be a nihilist, you can believe that. And I'm never going to knock
I
you
think
for
that theory is a
I
lot
will never believe
scarier,
that.
in my opinion. I'm not saying I believe
think
it.
that theory is
I think
the
that
least
shit's
scary of our
terrifying.
problems. Because the fact of the matter is, if that is the truth, you can live your life in perfect solitude knowing that you don't have to worry about shit, because at the end of the days, like, you're just gonna die and that's it, you know? Like,
You don't think that's scary, bro? I would rather
No,
like
I
know
don't.
something's
I don't
out
think
there
that's scary.
and be like, okay, there's something.
That's
You know
He
why?
got checked really fucking.
My thing is, if that is the truth, then you don't have to worry about living your life a certain way. You understand? Like, you can be as immoral and as money hungry and as crazy as you want to be without any consequence.
That still is. I don't think, just in our nature, we don't get a lot of satisfaction from that. At least not as much as
you're
doing
right,
altruistic things, because it does
That's
feel
the thing
good to
about
do
it.
good.
I think, I personally think we're made to inhabit the spirit of goodness. You know, we're made to understand morality from that standpoint, in a sense. This is why we do good things, we feel good, we revel in that goodness. You know, when we do bad things, unless your mind is completely numb to the opposite, like, you're going to feel terrible about it. You know, unless your mind is broken by that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just like my take on it. Because I don't feel good when I do bad things, because I'm not a bad person. You know?
Right.
Deadass.
I don't truly believe that anybody who does bad things feels good in doing so at the beginning. You know, if you, however,
Yeah, you become numb to it. But
yeah, not necessarily numb to it.
I think some people get a thrill out of
become
it.
greater than that. So yeah, you might become greater than that. Like, that's why I really appreciated how Aristotle composed his hierarchy or his categorizing of moderation, right? Temperance as a virtue. I really appreciated that, because he literally put on one end of the spectrum a divine sense of temperance and an animalistic sense of temperance, right? And if you think of an animalistic soul, you know, and I talk about the soul sometimes, like my 2 cents, but I'm not even going to go into the soul right now. But about an animal sense of moderation is this: they pursue pleasure and they avoid pain. Period. It has nothing to do with anything else. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with anyone else. On a very general scale, because obviously there are some animals that do care for their young and this and that, but there are also some animals that will eat their young, right? So I'm talking on a very general sense, an animalistic sense of moderation. They pursue pleasure and they avoid pain. But if the divine sense is, you know, they pursue pleasure and they avoid pain, you know, to a certain extent where it doesn't hurt anybody else, where it helps other people, this and that, right? To the point where it's completely altruistic. And then you have all of this on the spectrum in between. Like what he said was, you know, you could have a completely moderate person who is generous and courageous, you know, willing to stand up for others, willing to give to others at the, you know, not at the expense of themselves or their family, but to the point where they're still living comfortably, they're willing to give, right? Like, even if that means that they have no expendable income, really. Like, as long as they're living comfortably, you're living comfortably, if they want to do what they just did, they'll do it, right? And then you have, like, you know, on the other end, the intemperate person, right? And the intemperate person would do whatever they want. You know, it doesn't really matter who is at what expense, but it's not so, like, such a thrill-seeking experience. It's not like, it's like, yeah, sure, they do it, like, you know, maybe they gamble, maybe they do drugs, maybe they are addicted to sex, but they're not evil about it, right? They're not buying sex slaves. They're not, you know, doing whatever it may be. Like, that would be the next level, the animalistic. And then in between those two, and I really appreciated this too, because he really got the spectrum down, I think, would be like the continent and the incontinent person, where the continent person knows. So the the intemperate person, as I just described, right? Then the next level up, the incontinent person, who does wrong in a sense, does something that's immoderate, but knows that they're doing wrong in a sense. Like, they have a sense of it, but they still do it. Like, they still get pleasure out of it, and they enjoy that pleasure, even though it might be at somebody else's expense. Like, they might make fun of somebody here or there, even though they know that they probably shouldn't. Like, they have that second thought, or maybe that fourth thought, but they still do it. And then, like, the continent person is somebody who, like, recognizes it, realizes it, still might sometimes act like naturally, like instinctively on their pleasures, but then afterward would, like, kind of almost feel regret, right? Like, they have the regret piece. Yeah. And I really appreciated all of that. Like, he just really categorized everything. Like, they know better in a sense, right? And it was a really good way to I think that Aristotle hit the nail on the fucking head with that. Like, I don't agree with everything Aristotle ever said by any means, but like that for sure. I think I've always believed once I really understood what he was trying to say.
Dead ass.
No,
And
it's
he's talking about all people.
It's not lying. Yeah. That's literally like how morality works for people, though.
You know, my sense of like I can't even boil everything down to one faith or religion anymore. Like, the shit I believe in is so complex now. Like, for good reason. Like, shit that happened to me.
Hell
Shit.
yeah.
But basically, like, when people ask, like, oh, what are your beliefs? Like, I tell them, like, I was raised as a Christian. Like, I know the Christian and Catholic religion, but I just consider myself like a nomad, or like a, I don't know. Like,
Just part of the universal,
exactly.
it's the
And I
universe.
tell them, like, I believe that there's a universal connection between everything, pretty much, and like it's beyond my understanding.
What's crazy is most Americans are spiritual. They're like spiritualists, but they're not religious people. Like nowadays, at least. But
Yeah, like,
back in the day,
like,
most people used to be very like religious. Now people
like
really
all the
aren't
churches
as
and shit like
religious. Yeah.
I still think that you're talking about like urbanity though. Like
Talking about
you're urbanity. Like when you're talking about you said most Americans. I don't
Yeah.
think that's true.
No,
I think
because
most
like
Americans are still
a
very
statistic
religious.
was like recently released. I don't know the exact numbers, but a majority weren't religious people. But that majority did consider themselves to be. That majority of people, a large percentage of that majority, consider themselves to be spiritualists, but not necessarily religious. Which means, yeah, they do believe in like a higher being or whatever, but they're not tied to a faith, or they're not going to church every Sunday, which I think is accurate.
I get what you're saying, but you know, and as a study, but I'm just saying like, okay, you're saying that and how you understand it is one thing, but I'm just saying like, how does somebody from Georgia or Alabama understand that? Like, yeah, their parents
Of course,
are
they don't
radical
understand it
Christians,
the
and
same
they're
way,
a little
yeah.
less radical than that, but they still are spiritual, quote unquote. They're not religious because their parents were religious, and to them, religious is like they go to church every day, they talk about God all the time, and maybe they don't do that. Like, but that dude is still way more spiritual and religious than you, right? Like,
Right.
I think it's just. I mean, you
But
really
when
gotta consider how many
taking like a
states, how many
survey,
people-
that person would check off religious, don't you think? They wouldn't check off I'm not religious, but I'm
No, but I don't
spiritualist.
necessarily think
Nah.
that's true. I mean, I think
Depends on who
like
you
a
are.
racist motherfucker from the South who says Christianity is great and Muslims are evil and we should
Definitely a
kill them
religious
all,
person.
but still check spiritual
Nah.
and say their parents were religious compared to them, more religious. Like I think you're just seeing it from your perspective.
I guess
like
so.
don't you see what I'm saying? Like
I see what you're saying, but I don't know. It seems kind of thin, to be honest.
I mean, but you are from an urban place. Like you're seeing it from your perspective.
Oh, I get it. I get
I'm
it
just saying,
even from
you're
like
talking
a
about
rural
all
perspective.
Americans real quick. Like,
I don't say
you're
all
from-
Americans. I would say
It's kinda what you're
generally
saying,
most
though.
young
Talking about all
Americans.
Americans.
You're literally talking about
Alright,
the
then
majority
I'm
of
just
Americans.
wrong.
Americans in
You have to
general. You said
rephrase what you're
Americans in a
saying.
study. I'm just saying, like, you know, you're talking about Americans on average. Yeah, maybe some of them identify as such, but I don't think that's really accurate, frankly. I think most Americans are still stuck in the past. You know?
I think a lot of
Like, I still
Americans
think-
still are.
Yeah, I mean, is that not proof? Like, did we not get that proof, like, 2 years ago when Donald Trump was fucking elected? Like, and Mike Pence? Like, I think
True,
most Americans
unfortunately.
are stuck in the past, bro. Whether or not they want to call themselves religious doesn't make a difference.
I think
man.
most Americans
Still-
are just, I think just people in general are just very impressionable. Like, it's just in our nature to be impressionable. It's not
Agreed.
like, it's not that there's anything bad or wrong with it. It's just like how we are. You know, whatever we like expose ourselves to is directly related to like who we are, becomes who we are.
Yeah, bro. Simpy. They got more simpy than we do.
Got more simpy. I don't know. At the end of the day, I think yeah, that's my take on things. Humans are just like really, regardless of what you believe in, it's all like based on influencing factors.
I have a question for you
This
guys.
is why I kind of stress like going out there and making your own decision, kind of like instead of just like taking things at face value. But it takes
hold
a long
Exactly.
time of research and like forming your own opinions.
Which I have a question now.
Me personally, I
Would
trust
you guys-
scientific research. That's my
Fair
take on
enough.
things. Because scientific research is different. And
It's
it's all
still
about.
the words of what someone has told you.
Bro,
I mean, it is.
I look
You
on
can
my
say
phone,
bro to me
right?
all
My
you
phone
want.
says it's gonna snow tonight, right?
I get it. I get it. And yes, it
I
will
go
snow.
outside
Yes,
and there's
there
snow
are.
on the ground.
Eric,
That's
I get
that's
it.
what I believe in. That's all I'm saying. That's what I believe in.
that's fine. I am not like refuting that. I simply just made a system. I mean, a statement.
For real.
Like I get it. Like all I'm saying is that the same people who tell you that stuff are still just people telling you that stuff,
True that.
regardless of if it's true or not.
Well, when I look on my phone and it says, "Yo, be prepared. It's gonna snow tomorrow. Please believe I'm gonna bust out my North Face."
Yeah, you're right. And a lot of times it won't even snow nearly as bad or as much as they say. Or
Still snows,
sometimes it
though.
will. It really just depends.
You get what I'm saying, though.
I
It's
understand.
like people
what
say
you're saying.
science is not real, but you're using a scientific instrument right now.
Science is real. I think science is actually like an understanding of our physical environment. Makes sense. But I just don't necessarily agree that everything they tell you in science is fact, because half the things that they, actually more than half the things that they tell us in science, we actually haven't tested ourselves. We literally just take it at face value, and that's it.
True that.
And,
Well,
and
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of
I
it
mean,
has been over time. But model of
What's
the
that?
cell. I said it has been refuted over time. Right? You think about
true,
one
but you
putting
can't
model of the
refute. You
cell,
can't refute the software that you're playing right now as being
I'm not
like a
gonna
product of
refute it.
years and years of development and software development. That's
No,
all I'm
that's
saying.
true. That's okay, Eric. That's true, but it still doesn't change the fact that what we're saying is true. That's just one instance out of like millions of other instances.
I can respect it.
Okay, then. Like, that's all we're trying to get you to see. Like,
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I don't want to interrupt. Why can't
No,
we just
that
all
was
be nice
literally
What
just
time is it?
regardless of like what's going to happen afterwards?
I get it. What? Wait, what?
Why can't
We do all love each other. It
We
doesn't
do.
mean we can't have an existential debate.
that right there? That's why I don't like religion, because religion promotes us not loving each other.
I
At the
think
end
so.
of the day, and hear what I'm saying. Like,
I think organized religion promotes that for sure. Like,
We should all
and it's
become
not all organized
Scientologists.
religion, it's like the most radical versions of it.
no,
So if you read
sure, but I'm saying even
Greetings and salutations.
Go ahead.
And all that shite.
rather.
Long way from
Sir.
Point Dawn,
What? You
aren't
keep
you,
cutting
baby?
out. I don't know why. Like,
Decided
face your
it was time to
TV.
branch out.
This chick is in the background doing
I said-
cocaine
I
and
said
smoking cigarettes.
Not necessarily the least radical would be my point, but like it's not always just the most radical. I'm talking about like regular ass Catholic church, regular ass
Regular
mosque,
ass
regular
anything.
ass
So where's the operation?
Muslim church, regular ass, whatever it may be, tells you that this is the truth and that others are non-believers and will be smited and this and that. And my
I don't
point
even-
is
yeah,
that
and the crazy
that
part-
inspires hatred among
Yeah,
people.
it does, and that's not even everyone
that
in the
inspires you to
faith.
say like even if I love you, even at the least radical piece, like even if I love you, you're still being deceived. Like I still have this weird feeling about it, about you. You know, like I still don't quite believe you, right? Like that's just wrong. I just don't believe in that. You know?
That's not everyone
Take
in
it
the
from a
faith, though.
person. Hold on. Well,
That's
take
a
it
lot-
from-
that's-
exactly. I was about to say that's not.
That's a lot of
everyone
people
in the faith, because
in like
again, take
religious
it from a
though,
person who
or religious
is
like facilities.
from one side and transition to the other side. I don't think you're weird, and that's not just because you're my friend. And I don't necessarily think of everyone I meet as, oh, this person's going to get smited because they don't believe in Lord Jesus Christ. Like, I get it, you know? Like, we have a difference of opinions, but it teaches me, in my teachings at least, to respect every man as a man, and every woman as a woman, regardless of what their choices and denominations are. Because, yes, I can judge their sin at the end of the day, and I can see their sin and try to tell them about it. But if they don't want to listen, then that is that. I still have to treat them as another human
Exactly.
being, because we're still all in the
And
same
imagine,
life.
imagine if we're all wrong and
You know?
the
This is
Church
why I
of the
think it
Flying
gets-
Spaghetti
it gets
Monster is
skewed.
actually right.
Hey, then it is what it is, and we all fucked up by not listening to the
To
Flying
the Church
Spaghetti
of the Flying
Monster, but-
Spaghetti Monster, that ass.
But at the end of the day, you're also not, you're faithful, but you don't go to church.
You know?
I do sometimes, and the church that I go to doesn't teach what you're saying. You know. This is what I'm saying, dude.
Of course they don't.
I'm not trying to generalize. I'm just
No,
saying.
I know.
Like,
I'm just saying it's different for everybody. I understand where you're coming from, and I don't agree with the people who and this is why I say radical, because that's like a radical thought. You know, if we're all human and we all believe in, let's just say, Christianity, right? Like we all believe in the goodness of Christ, right? Like Christ literally exemplified like sharing with your brother, you know, helping people regardless of if they do wrong to you. It doesn't matter what side of the coin they're on, you know. They're another person. This is why he spent all this time with, you know, drunkards and beggars and people who were downtrodden, you know, people who wouldn't fuck with a normal system. And the hoes and the prostitutes, all of them. Literally, he spent so much time with those people, like, you know, talking to them and fellowshipping with them and getting them to understand the concept of being a good person.
You probably was getting lit with them too. Like, if you think about it, why wouldn't you?
I mean, at the end of the day, what I've been told is Jesus was a man not of worldly pleasures. He didn't care about that shit. So I'm inclined to believe that that's not.
He probably was like one of those guys who like would come out with you. He's like, nah, I don't smoke, but like, yo, you could definitely blaze it, bro. You're good.
Go do whatever you gotta.
It was dead ass like how
I
he was.
do
I'm
it.
sure he was probably a cool ass
I'm
dude. Bro.
positive that's how he was. You know, he taught the goodness of like the world. You know,
I'd be
he
like,
taught,
yo,
like, through
JC,
him,
you want a shot of this Henny?
like,
You'd be like, nah, bro, I'm
you
straight.
get a
I'm
shot into
vibing
heaven.
though.
You know, if you just understood that, and it's not even like you needed to live like the most religious, like devout life. You just have to be like, yo, this dude came down, he weighed like all his sins for me, and he's dying as like a symbol of like sacrifice. You know, like he's sacrificing himself so that all of my deeds are like done. You know.
But
And,
they're really
from
not
there,
though,
you just
because we
try to
still
live
have
a
original
moral
sin.
life. Yeah, we still have to die. Like that's a curse. You know, there's a thing called generational curses. Like definitely something you should look into. I mean, it's more quote unquote spiritual mumbo jumbo, but like if I have my father and he passed down his anger to me, which I do exemplify, I believe it's something like a generational curse because his father was angry.
Or you could just be no better than your father, which is
it could be
what it is a lot of the time.
That's a different perspective in my opinion, so it is what it is. I'm not saying like, you know, you can't break out of it, because you can totally break out of generational curses, but all I'm saying is I believe it's a generational curse rather than just something that is there, you know?
True.
But it all depends. Nature and nurture play a role, we've learned that.
Yeah, 100%, because I don't know, a lot of alcoholism is a big
in my
thing in my,
opinion,
like my family, but I don't
generational
fuck with it.
curse.
And a lot of people in my immediate family don't.
That's fair.
But I don't know. Sometimes, like, you'd be surprised, yo. You grow up, I think your childhood is so important because of that. Because if you grow up and you see that angry ass asshole of a father, like, most likely that's gonna be you somewhere down the line. That's like where you learn it from.
That's what I'm saying. That's the generational curse. You know, as much as you try to get out of that mindset.
Yeah. Or if like your parents are born poor, most likely you're gonna be poor too.
You're gonna be poor. Another generational curse. Like, and it's not even because like you're not trying to get out of it. You just end up that way. You know.
Oh yeah. But then there's a little something called resilience. You can completely break that mold too. But those people are few and far between.
Faith in you having a better life. Faith in you getting out of something. And I believe the concept of faith in itself is like a strong
delusion.
indicator of where you're
you
going
need to have some kind of delusion.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, I wouldn't call it a delusion.
Yes, it is, dude. If you think about it, faith, hope, all that, it's all delusion. It's not real. It's something you create. Hey, I'm not saying it in a bad way. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I have faith, hope, courage, all those things, but I know what they are. You know, I know where they all come from. That's me. That's where they come from.
It's not a delusion, though. You can't say that your drive for something is a delusion.
Yes, it is.
That's really asinine.
It completely is. Well, in my opinion, it is. For someone, it couldn't be, but I
in my
definitely
opinion, that's
think
extremely asinine. Because if it's a delusion, you're literally like painting it so that nothing matters. You know,
kind of
that is what you're saying. I just don't agree with that, though. You're in this life for a reason. You're in this life to
reason
learn
is
something,
whatever
to make an
reason you
impact
give
to
it.
some other person. And
If
yeah, it
if
could be
you
that.
if you spend your life smoking crack on the street corner, like you're not
You're
gonna
be a crackhead,
become
probably.
a doctor.
But
Yeah,
I'm
you're gonna be a
sure
crackhead.
those crackheads literally had a purpose in life and an aspiration, and they just ended up fucking becoming a crackhead.
Yeah.
You know, and that is what it is. Like, some people never
Their
realize their
delusion
purpose in
for
life and
crack
live
was a
their
lot
whole
stronger
thing.
than their delusion for success in another way. Their priorities were different.
Hey man, whatever you want to say. I just don't think that someone's hopes, dreams, or the ability to pull yourself out of a detrimental situation is a delusion.
I think it's a necessary delusion though, because like
I
it's just
don't
how
like
our
that
brains
word.
work.
Like, maybe
I know
should
you don't like it,
reconsider
but
what
that's
that
just
word
how we
is.
work.
It's not how we work, bro. It's literally not. Again, do not put me in the same vein as you who thinks that hope and faith are a delusion.
It doesn't come from anywhere but you though.
It doesn't need to come from anywhere but you. You are the person
You
in
create
control.
it though. Your faith, your hope could
Okay.
be for smoking crack. And you know what? You're gonna
Bro,
you're gonna
then
smoke
that's
as
you.
much crack as you can. It's
Then
all about like
that
what
is
your
you.
delusion kind of
That
is, you know.
is you.
But if
You
I
know
think
what?
if you
This
can
is
control that,
the same thing as we've been talking about when we were talking about the word gimmick. Okay, I think for you at least in this situation, you're using the word wrong.
that's fair.
So, so basically, he's asking you to define gimmick in your own
Jackie,
words.
a mutual friend sent me.
Wait, are we
No,
talking about
I
gimmicks
understand
or
what he's saying
delusions?
about delusion, like in this
I
situation.
mean,
I
not
just
gimmick.
do not
I'm
agree.
sorry, not gimmick.
You know
Delusion.
You could
Delusion.
say that. I'm a special
Find
agent with
delusion in your
Treasury.
own way, bro.
The IRS is looking into Olivia Marcano.
Like a drive,
Smart enough to
like
pay
a hope
taxes.
for something is
I'm
completely
investigating
different than a
man who works for
delusion.
her,
Like,
Chester
you
Moreau.
just don't even.
From what I've been able to piece
It's
together,
just-
he
just not the
finances
same,
the
dude.
Southern Union.
Figured those racist fucks would factor into this somehow.
Depends on like what your drives
I think
are. like,
your drives can spawn from a delusion,
Whatever the
but
connection,
the
it's
drive
deep,
itself
it's
is not a
secret,
fucking delusion.
and it's bringing in a lot of
You know?
money.
oh yeah.
Much more than you'd
Like if you
expect
say,
from
yo,
territory
I want to
Frisco
like,
Fields. The Bureau
Like,
looked
do
I
you
want to
know what
own
the
my,
word
I want
delusion
to, I
even
want to
means?
like start my own
Trust
country.
me, I get my hands
I would
on
be
one of
like,
those
yo, you're
bastards.
delusional.
He's
But if you
talking.
go out and you
I
do
thought as
it,
much. Only other lead I have is that the Southern Union's got stashes of propaganda
you know what I mean?
scattered
Are
around
you
the
really
neighborhood.
still delusional?
Might not seem
If
like
you went out and
much.
made
Do
your
you
own
even
country?
know what delusional
You'll get the
means?
attention
What
of
does
the people
delusional
who
mean?
matter.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look up the
Rose starts
fucking
losing
Webster
money, he's gonna wanna know
dictionary
why.
definition.
Okay, there's
I have
a
something actionable.
delusion is a false
really
belief
talking
in
around
something
A
here.
belief
that's
or
clear.
altered reality that is
Chester's people
persistently held despite evidence or argument to the contrary, generally in reference to a mental disorder. You're literally like not even sure what you're saying right now. If
It's
you're using
generally in
delusion to
reference
describe
to a
something like
mental
that.
disorder. So you could
Yes,
believe
but-
something that's completely false to the rest of the world, and it could be 100% true to you. That's a delusion.
And that
So you
is
could
a
be
delusion.
like-
AKA, you could believe the sky is purple, but the sky is actually blue, and everybody can clearly see that it's blue. Something that has like evidence here. in
What
the
if, I
world.
don't know, what if some
Physically
like
blue.
the weird thing happened in the sky and it turned purple, like some kind of bacteria in the
think what
water
Eric is trying to say
evaporated,
is-
went into the clouds in the sky, and the sky turned purple one day.
I think what he's
Yo,
trying to say
then
is
we
in
would-
that
we would
example
all
right
see,
there.
we would all see that the sky is purple. Literally. We would
And
all
then
see
it
that
would
the sky
not
is
be-
purple. And then it would not be a delusion.
True that.
I think what Eric is trying to say is that the dude that sees really thinks that the sky is purple. Like, what if he's actually right and everybody else is actually dead wrong?
True
The
that.
sky
What
is
if-
actually purple.
What if he's saying,
we
you know, like how
understand
light
that.
is different?
I get that, but
What
it's
if
the
he's
same
saying
thing.
light
we're talking
in a
about
different
hold on,
spectrum
hold
too?
on. But that is not
understand.
exactly what he was saying.
Let me try and explain. Let me try and explain. Because delusion, you have to have some basis for proving it wrong. If not, then you could say that I'm not delusional, even though I think the sky is purple and everyone else is. You have to be able to prove with hard fact. And in some universe, yeah, maybe the sky is purple, and we're all delusional. I sort of understand where it's coming from, in the sense that, you know, say, for example, let's use the sky example, perfect example. Like, maybe the sky is purple. Really delusional, and we see it as this blue color that we do. but we would air quote prove.
Dude, we could all just
that
be star
it's
people
like,
in a simulator. You really never know.
No, dead serious.
Yeah,
like,
you know what? And that would be a delusion if we all thought that and it turned out to be wrong, and that's fair. And maybe even like belief in Christianity or belief in religion is a delusion when you quote unquote have scientific evidence in the world there. But the way that you use the word delusion is absolutely wrong in that situation. A delusion is not something that comes from your courage or your drive to do something or your fear of an object. Like, that is real to you. You know, that's what you perceive fear as for you. Why would that be a delusion in your mind, you know?
Because it could be false.
But how is it false if it's you wouldn't know if it's false or true?
What if you were like, damn,
perceiving
I
it, though.
can't do this, and it's false?
Damn, you can't do what?
That's a delusion. Like anything.
Defined what?
Anything possible. Like, for instance,
I can't walk to the store because my legs hurt.
Let's say,
and your legs don't actually hurt. Yes, that's a delusion right there. Okay, that's absolutely a delusion. But
let's say you can't run like 50 miles, right?
Okay.
Well,
and the entire time you're like, damn, I can't run 50 miles. But then you do it.
Keep in mind, for that you'd have to have some type of basis for analysis, meaning you'd have to actually try to run that 50 miles. And
True,
if you didn't, and then you said, yeah, I can't, that's no longer a delusion. You proved it wrong.
You proved it right. Yeah.
Hell yeah. But if you couldn't do it, if you couldn't do it, then you would be a delusional fuck.
If
you say, and you still continue to say that you can do it after, yes, you're delusional. You know?
Yeah. If you say I can run 1,000 miles, run 20 and be like, yeah, I can do it, then you.
But it's not like, yo, like, oh, I have this like 20-page paper to write that's due by Friday, and then like you're sitting there thinking I can't fucking do it, but then you're like, you know what? Here's the courage. Like, I have to do it. It's for my future. It is.
You guys ever seen the Charlie Zelenoff Deontay Wilder fight?
No, nigga, I don't give a fuck about the stupid shit that you watch sometimes.
Alright. Well, in that fight, one of the guys, he's clearly delusional, because he thinks he won the fight, but Deontay Wilder clearly didn't win the fight, and Charlie Zelenoff won the fight. But literally a bunch of delusional haters.
Hold on. Here's the thing. Hold up. You have to keep in mind, when did he think that he won the fight? Before or after?
He knocked him out in the ring. And then he got DQ'd a second time outside the ring, and then he tried to say that he won. But Charlie Zelenoff actually knocked him out. Deontay Wilder lost.
Listen, did he say that he won after they said that, you know, final verdict that he lost? Did he say after that he won?
I mean, I don't know. They don't really ever say anything like in the video, but they definitely fought. And there's definitely a clip of Charlie Zelenoff knocking Deontay Wilder out.
But you have to keep in mind, it all depends on what he says after the proven fact. Once you know the proven fact, if you decide to think otherwise, then you are delusional. That's the whole basis around.
I mean, it's on video. Clearly, he knocked him out.
But that's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, unless someone's proven it to you, then in your world it can still be.
But I mean, what if a bunch of delusional YouTube haters are literally just posting comment after comment? That's what he has to deal with, man. Charlie Z is the GOAT.
Like I said, I don't know the situation to further comment.
You got YouTube?
So. Yeah, man.
Look. Punch in Charlie Z versus Deontay Wilder.
Yo, that's mad work.
This nigga. If you want visual evidence.
Of what? Like, what exactly are we debating here?
Some people are delusional, man. Deontay Wilder is delusional. Charlie Zelenoff 100%
We're not debating that people aren't delusional. I'm just trying. The whole point of this argument was just to say that the concept of you thinking that, like, I don't know, like, you have hope for something, or like, you're looking forward to something is not fucking delusional. Like, unless, of course, it's been a proven fact that it is something that is delusional, you know? Something that's clearly false, and you're thinking the opposite, even though it's clearly proven false. Alright? That is the base for the word delusion. Are we in agreement?
Yes. 100%.
Then end of fucking story.
Dead ass. But yo, you guys should definitely check out that fight.
Damn, I was trying to trigger tie. This nigga did it.
Yeah, nigga, how are you triggering me? I'm the one. What? Just stop.
I mean,